Go to the secondary, and Napier was asked about the safeties and said Kamari Wilson, Miguel Mitchell doing a good job, but he also shed some light on the depth and rotation on the back end. And this maybe comes as a bit of a surprise, but probably shouldn't, but maybe the name does. Napier added that Jaden Hill was seeing time in that room at the star position. So star safety, Jaden Hill. Seeing some time there. He admits they're a little thin at safety and star, and that's where young players can really make some headway this spring. You heard me bring up Sharif Denson last week, and because of that, as maybe a young player who can come in and make some headway because there's not a lot of experience. And then Napier's admitting it here too. And of course, I mean, this all you got to do is just look at a depth chart or a roster and see how how short Florida is on the depth pieces there at safety and star. So of course, a Sharif Denson, a Jordan Castell, a Bryce Thornton can make some headway there. A Jamarcus Weston moving there and flashing so far. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Wilson, Mitchell, of course, your top two guys right now making plays in spring practice so far this first week. You mentioned how those guys have had interceptions so far, but playing really well so far through the first week, and take that for what it's worth. First week, of course, and offense going through some quarterback changes. And as I said, we don't even know who the quarterback is when you hear about interceptions in spring practice. But those guys are making some plays so far. But Jaden Hill does go in depth about Corey Raymond taking over in the secondary and how this defensive back room is shaping up.
With him being over working with all of us, it's like, everybody is hearing the same message, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's no gray area, you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Coach mentioned that you've been playing some with that group, with that safety star group. What's that been like, just playing inside?
It's been pretty good. I look forward to it, the challenge. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can get after it right there, and I look to feel what Trevez just left. I look to feel his spot for him.
Yeah, and you've always been outside, but does an opportunity like this? Do you take it as, well, this just shows the NFL, but hey, I can play inside, outside, I can be multiple?
Most definitely.
Where's Devin Moore at compared to where he was at last year? What have you seen from him over the last 12 months?
Oh, yeah. It's funny you asked that because I was just telling Ja the same the story about Devin. But when Devin first came in, he always used to be like, man, see Ray on my tail, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, like, watch, your game going to get better so much, and you're just going to be like, dang, I thank you, you know what I'm saying? So right now, Devin, he's telling Ja that same message, but Devin game has definitely came a long way, you know what I'm saying? And just seeing how he's grown is great, you know what I'm saying?
C-Ray's kind of tough love?
Oh, yeah. You're going to get it.
Seems like Kamari's kind of been a little bit more vocal in the secondary. Is he kind of stepping up as the leader going into his second year?
Yeah, with Kamari being, one of the oldest guys in his room, and he's only the upcoming sophomore, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, yeah, he's accepted that role, and he's doing it at a pretty good high level, you know what I'm saying?
With the younger guys coming in, obviously a lot of talent coming in with this last recruiting class. What are those guys, which of those guys have really kind of showed out early on? Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, I'm impressed with all the newcomers, all the guys who came in the spring. The boys came ready to work. Like, they kind of, like, surprised me. I'm like, dang, y'all boys, you know what I'm saying? But for my room specifically, you know what I'm saying, Josh, Sharif, you know what I'm saying, the safeties, Bryce, Jordan, you know what I'm saying, them boys working, you know what I'm saying, and they getting after it. For the other positions, like, all of them. Well, more so for defense speaking, you know what I'm saying, the transfer, my boy Taraji, Dudes, all them boys getting out there, Jaden, all them boys getting out there, you know what I'm saying. It's a whole bunch of names. I could just keep going. Kelby, Will, all them boys snapping. So.
What about Jamarcus moving to safety? That kind of surprised you a little bit? What have you seen on him? Billy said he's kind of been flashing a little bit back there.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, like, I was excited for him because, you know what I'm saying, I'm just ready to see him, get out of his shell a little bit, and he's one of the Jamarcus is one of the most, like, gifted athletes I've been around, you know what I'm saying? And I know he can do it. It's just when he understands and gets it all done, I feel like he could be a good player better.
And getting that opportunity, I know he's been waiting to
no doubt.
Receiver, now he has a chance to show what he can do.
No doubt, you know what I'm saying? I was just talking to him the other day about it, and I was like, just one day at a time, because he kind of felt overwhelmed. Like he feel like he got to get it all at once, you know what I'm saying? But it take time.
I saw you guys in the chat back there saying, it would have been probably beneficial for Corey Raymond to have the whole defensive back room last year. I agree with you, but also right now, the way it's playing out, definitely no better time than to make that move, because you heard it. All the young guys that are back there, Florida needs some depth. And you have Kamari Wilson there, who is in his second year. You heard Jaden Hill say it. He's in his second year, and he's got to be a leader in that safety room already. I mean, there was a lot to sell. I mean, that's probably one of Florida's reasons of bringing in such a talented defensive back class in the class of 2023, because you were selling playing time like crazy back there. And these guys, Sharif Denson, Jordan Castell, Bryce Thornton, Jakeem Jackson, all these guys are going to be able to come in and contribute right away if they do their job. There are openings right there. I have full confidence Kamari Wilson and Miguel Mitchell is going to take most of those snaps back there at safety. But I mean, if you move now, Jaden Hill, if he can break through and become a contributor there at star, what does that mean for Hill and Perkins? Does Perkins can he play some safety as well? I mean, I'm interested to see the rotation and how it works out there. I mean, Jaden Hill, we were talking about it coming in as a big preview of who's going to take that second cornerback spot opposite Jason Marshall. Jaden Hill, he might be getting some time at nickel, but he's also still competing for that cornerback spot, Devin Moore. But, I mean, if it works out where it is Jason Marshall, cornerback 1, Devin Moore, cornerback 2, and Jaden Hill at nickel, I mean, I've got to see it, of course, but that gives you some experience at 2 of the spots with Hill and Marshall. Now, of course, Hill with a lot of experience at cornerback, but still some experience. Now, nickel would be a little new for him. Nickel star would be a little bit new for him. But if that gets Devin Moore as cornerback 2, and all the flash that he showed early on last season, and Hill was a third option at cornerback, that could work out to be pretty nice for Florida to go along with a lot of the young guys that are back there at the safety position and competing. But no better time than to have one voice to help all that communication in the locker room, during the games, on the field, than Corey Raymond being back there. And now it's time. You heard it brought up. It is definitely time. And I brought it up before when we heard about the position change of Jamarcus Weston being back there. And of course, this time of year, it is hopeful. You hope to hear all the positivity coming around. And you heard Hill talking about Weston being one of the best athletes on the team. Well, it's time to see that. He's making a position change. He could, as I said earlier, he could have transferred, but he wants to be at Florida, it seems like. He's going through a position change at Florida. But now it's time. If it didn't work out at receiver or kick returner, as we saw him at times before, it's kind of the last-ditch effort here. We've got to see that athleticism play out on the field. And maybe it gets unlocked here at safety. It's time to see Jamarcus Weston step up if that potential is there. I like Hill being a leader there. Hey, and you don't have to get it all at one time. First of all, it's a new position. You got a lot to learn. You don't have to learn it all at one time. We'll bring you along. The staff will bring you along. Tough love from Corey Raymond, as you heard Hill say.
Want more Gators Breakdown? Join Gators Breakdown Plus. Starting at $3 a month. Get access to unique episodes, plus a blog, chat room, giveaways, shout-outs, and more. Gators Breakdown Plus is furthering the interaction with fans and listeners like you. Head to gatorsbreakdown.supportingcast.fm to join Gators Breakdown Plus today.